I don't think it's panic time. Obviously, the table is tight, so this could mean a lot when it comes down to the end of the season. I still expect them to come good and challenge for the title. And in my opinion, I still think they're the most talented and best team in La Liga.
Up at the top of the table, it is Real Madrid, who still are the leaders, but by a single point after that victory for Atletico Madrid. And Barcelona, they play Alaves, as we said, tomorrow. They've got the game in hand on 42 points, so they could move up to 45 points with a victory. Where did this come from, Real Madrid? They've been in such free-scoring, attacking form. Can we put it down to fatigue because they were involved in the Champions League?
They had their opportunities. They really did. I mean, they did enough to win the game, even though some of the underlying stats maybe weren't what we're used to with this Real Madrid side, especially with their form as of late. But you just have to wonder, like, why do we have these type of games? Real Madrid hasn't lost many games against inferior opponents. We were talking about it yesterday on Scoreline, how Barcelona are in the position that they're in because they've lost some games against some teams down at the bottom of the table. Real Madrid really hasn't done that. But today, had everything going for them in great form. We're kind of, like you said, look at the momentum here until the very end. And that's where Espanyol find a way. I mean, look, it's a conversation that, Real Madrid fans don't want us to have, but the Vinnie and Mbappe thing, they are still fantastic players. No one's going to take anything away from them. But are they bringing the best out of each other when they're on the pitch together? I don't know. We saw them create a lot of opportunities today and have opportunities individually, but I just don't know, and I don't see them combining maybe to the extent that you expect to see, especially against the lesser side.
Let's dive into the specifics of that conversation, because I feel like it's something we need to do. Because when we saw Real Madrid in midweek and in the last few games when Vinny Jr. hasn't been playing because of his suspension, Kylian Mbappe has been scoring goals and creating chances. But what is it that he's getting to do when Vinny Jr. isn't playing that he can't do when Vinny Jr. is alongside him? What is it?
I mean, the natural thing to say is he does prefer to play on that left side a little bit more and cut in. It's what he's done for so many years for PSG, what he did for Monaco, what he's done for the French national team as well. And maybe with Vinny there, it takes him just a little bit out of position, has to start at a different spot. I mean, even on the goal where Vinny scores, he passes the ball out to Vinny wide. Vinny cuts in, and Mbappe is kind of caught in the middle, ends up fouling his defender, and it's no goal. I do think, look, I'm going to say these two players are supremely talented, and I do think and expect them to figure it out because they're just too talented to not figure out a way to play together and to bring the best out of each other. But I do think that it's an issue right now. I don't think that they're clicking at 100% together. Now, again, this is Real Madrid, and they have a lot of other players as well. I don't think it's panic yet, but this is a tough loss, and this La Liga match, this La Liga race is going to be decided at the very end. We've seen all three of those top teams lead at some point in the season by multiple points, by 4, 5 points. So I think it is going to be coming down to the end. I think Real Madrid do figure it out and do eventually kind of get back to the top. With Vinny and with Mbappe, figuring out how to play together will be key, and that will push them forward.
There also, to me, when we watch Real Madrid this season, seems to be a bit of a domino effect the way that Jude Bellingham is playing, because previously he's always been known as a kind of a number 8 in that midfield role, whereas this season he's pushing a bit further forward, I suppose a classic number 10, and that reduces the distance and the gap to the players who are further forward, which would be Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe. And when they're on the field together, all of that space is just a bit congested for me when you watch it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we both agree that Jude Bellingham's best position is the 8. And if he were deployed in a true 8, maybe that would give the spacing a little, Mbappe and Vinny a little bit more of the spacing that they need to be effective. Look, it's difficult again. You have so many good attacking players. They all want to get involved. They all want to be in on the goals. And I think that this is a job for Carlo Ancelotti. And I wouldn't want any other manager in the world to have to deal with this type of situation of finding the best way to play these guys, attacking to get them all their touches and get them all the space that they need. That being said, I do think that Jude's playing too far forward, and it does kind of encroach a little bit on what Mbappe wants to do and what Vinny wants to do. So maybe that is the solution of bringing that back, not playing a 4-2-3-1, playing a 4-3-3 with Jude a little bit further back, recovering from the midfield and pushing forward to the wingers and to Mbappe. Carlo Ancelotti gets paid a lot more money than we do to make those decisions, so I'll let him make those decisions. But I think that is something to look at, whether Real Madrid needs to do that to maybe get to even another level where they don't have games like this.
Yeah, not too many times recently when they have all been on the field that this attacking front four of Kylian Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Jude Bellingham and Rodrigo haven't scored for Real Madrid. Now, early on in that highlight, we saw another crucial moment really for Real Madrid fans, their heart in their mouths, when they saw Antonio Rudiger pulling up injured. How are they going to cope with it without him in the next few games?
They already have Chouameni playing center back. I mean, one of the better midfielders that they have at the club is playing center back, and he's been playing center back now for the majority of the season because of the injury issues. It's a bad one. Excuse me. It's a bad one if Rudiger is out for any lengthy period of time, because they right now don't have a ton of replacements. And if you have to talk about a weakness in this team, it's on that back line. It's at the fullback positions as well. If Rudiger's out, I don't really know what they do there. They're going to have to really piece together a back line with as many guys as they can, even maybe some youngsters as well.
Also, I think there's an interesting conversation to have about the psychology of the title race with three sides in it. I think it's Barcelona, I suppose, recently who have kind of suffered in that battle between the three sides, Atlético Madrid, Real Madrid and Barcelona pushing for the title. They've obviously got their opportunity in that game tomorrow to cut the gap a bit more. But do you think, I mean, I hate to accuse Real Madrid of suffering under the pressure, but do you think because of it's all getting pretty close at the top of Spanish football, that might have had an effect on Real Madrid today?
Possibly. I think more just maybe getting that draw, understanding they have to play Manchester City. In between that Manchester City tie against Champions League is a huge match against Atlético Madrid as well. Maybe the mind's on that type of thing, on those games ahead, maybe looking ahead a little too early. I don't think that the pressure does too much to a team like Real Madrid that's won all these Champions League trophies in the last previous years. I don't think the pressure is going to be something that gets to them. I just think, look, they had a bad game. They had probably not what you'd expect them from an attacking standpoint. They did create chances, probably did enough to win. But obviously they lose the game, and they're in a bad position. But I don't think it's panic time yet.
We must though tip our hats to Espanyol,
Absolutely.
who withstood, as we saw from the momentum chart there, a whole heap of opportunities. The goalkeeper had a fabulous day. The pressure was on them, and I bet all the other teams. Here is that momentum chart again. I don't think I've ever seen a game as one-sided as that that's ended in a victory for the team that's against all of that momentum. But we must also mention the fact that I think the other teams in that relegation battle would have been thinking, oh, well, Espanyol are going to get absolutely gubbed today against Real Madrid, just like the other teams around them have been doing recently. And now they've made a big move, which puts the pressure on the rest of them.
Yeah, Alaves is looking at this like, what the heck just happened? We had an opportunity here to stay above, and now we have to play Barcelona in the relegation zone. So it's a tough one. But look, I mean, the expected goals for Real Madrid was almost 2.31 expected goals for Espanyol, and they end up with the win. 21 total shots, 7 on target for Real Madrid. They clearly did enough to win this game and just left themselves open on a counterattack, which happens when teams are bombing forward, trying to find the winning goal. A team like Real Madrid, at some points, might leave themselves open against a team that's just going to try to counterattack, and that's exactly what happened in this game. I don't think it's panic time. Obviously, the table is tight, so this could mean a lot when it comes down to the end of the season. I still expect them to come good and challenge for the title, and in my opinion, I still think they're the most talented and best team in La Liga. It's just about figuring it out and finding ways to get results and not have these type of drop points again.